Good morning, Year 2, and welcome to Tuesday's English. Now today, before you start watching this video with me, I would like you to go and watch the 2 YouTube Tinga Tale stories first. So you need to go and find Why Leopard Has Spots, which is saved on our class page, and Why Owl's Head Turns All the Way Round. So go and watch those 2 videos first, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, hopefully you've watched both those stories now. So we are going to start off with our starter for this morning of sorting some of the adjectives from some of the Tinga Tales. Excuse me. We've got words like big, longer, smart, smarter. Oh, smart and smarter, they're from the same word family. So we are finding the words from the same word family and then we are going to sort them in order of how much. Now it's really hard to explain. The best way I can explain is by showing you an example. So I've got big. Have I got any other words here from the same family as big? Oh, biggest. Have I got anything else? I've got bigger. Now I'm in the Discovery Centre at the moment, so I'm going to find some books to explain what those words big, biggest and bigger mean. So let me find some books over here. I've got this book, Horrible Histories. Let's have a look. Oh, I've got this book on the Romans. And, oh, look at this. I've got this humongous book, A Day in the Life of a Victorian Child. So, this book, you could say this is big. It's big compared to something tiny like my ID card. This book's big. This book is bigger. But this book is the biggest. So that's how those 3 words link together. Big, if you compare this one, it's bigger. And if you compare this one, it's the biggest. So on my line, I would sort those words like this. Big is the ordinary adjective. If we want to say it's more than just big, we would say it's bigger. And then if we want to say it's even more than that, it is the most of all, it's biggest. Okay, can you do the same thing for the other words that we've got here? Longer, smart, smarter, cheekier, long, cheeky, cheekiest, smartest and longest. Can you sort them in the same way? Pause the video and have a go. How did you get on? Did your work look something like this? So, I've got long, longer, longest, smart, smarter, smartest, big, bigger and biggest, cheeky, cheekier and cheekiest. I wonder which animals those adjectives might be describing. Okay, well done for that. So we are still looking at our Tinga Tales. You've watched 2 today, one about leopard and one about owl. And just to remind you of why we're looking at the Tinga Tales, we had this very special letter. Just in case you didn't see yesterday's video, I will read it to you again. Oh, I didn't notice the spelling mistake in their letter yesterday. Well done if you spotted that. Not like that. That is not how you spell dear Mrs. Halligan. There we go. Dear Year 2. We are very excited to hear that you have been watching and reading some of our Tinga Tales. As it happens, we are looking at making a new series of books to go with some of the videos about the animals in Tinga Land and wondered if you would like to help us by writing your own Tinga Tale for our collection. The story we would like your school to write is Why Elephant Has a Trunk. And we watched that story yesterday. Good luck in your writing. The editor of Tinga Tales. Now today we are thinking about that journey that we're going on. You've watched 2 other Tinga stories to help you understand what the Tinga stories are like. Now we need to think about the writing skills that we are going to need to write our story. So, as always, we start our unit with thinking of our TAP. And TAP stands for text type, audience and purpose. And on our roadmap, it's at the bottom if I show you the roadmap, is here. This part goes at the bottom underneath because it's our final destination. We're starting here with the question, can I write a tinga-tinga tale to explain how an animal got its feature? We're watching lots of tinga-tinga tales to give us ideas, and then we're going to travel down this road of learning, and when we get to the end, we're going to do our final piece of writing. And this tap is for our final piece of writing, which is going to be a traditional African story. That's the text type. The audience is the editor of Tinga-Tinga Tales at Puffin Books. We've got to impress him. He's our first audience. If he likes our story, then the audience will be children who want to enjoy reading the Tinga-Tinga Tales. And the purpose of our writing is to entertain. Just like our last piece of writing when we were writing a poem about Eastleigh, we want the people reading our writing to feel excited and interested. So what do we need to do to get there? Let's have a look at our roadmap. Okay, so we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and for some reason the word cheekiest. It's such a cheeky word, it's snuck onto that page of my flip chart. I don't even know why. So let's have a look. We have got, I can join sentences with that, if, when, and because. That's a brand new objective. We haven't had that before on our roadmap. That is going to be brand new learning. So don't worry, next week we will be spending some lessons on that one. Today, your work, as you've spent so long probably watching the Tinga-Tinga Tales, is quite a short job. You're going to be colouring in your roadmap. So you might like to get a copy now. If you can't print it out, you can just think about these things as I'm talking about them now. Maybe you could just draw the smiley faces on a piece of paper to remind yourself, or just think about it as I'm reading them. But if you've got a paper copy of this sheet, pause the video now and go and get it. And that way we can colour in the smiley faces together. So, when you're writing, do you already use if, when, because, and that to join your sentences together? Something like, Monkey was excited because he had seen the mango tree, or if elephant had a trunk, he would be able to smell smells. If you think you already do that in your writing, you might give yourself a smiley face, colour that in now. If you think you sometimes do that but you need a bit more practice, the middle face. And because it's a brand new skill that we haven't learnt yet, it is okay to colour in the sad face to say, I don't know how to do that yet. That yet word is very important. Okay. The next one is a new piece of learning as well. This is very exciting. Got lots of new learning in this unit. We're spending quite a long time on it. It's using adverbs to start a sentence. Can you start sentences with words like carefully? Carefully, monkey reached up into the tree. Quietly, snake slithered through the grass. Angrily, lion roared. Do you use adverbs to start a sentence? Finally, that's a good adverb to start a sentence. Colour in the right face for that one. Okay, and then we can move on to this purple one. Maybe that's why I had cheekiest on this page, so that I could show you what I mean. I can use and est suffixes for adjectives. So that is these adjectives: cheekiest, cheekier, bigger, biggest. Can you use those words that we sorted right back here in our starter? How confident do you feel with using those words in your writing to describe characters? So again, this is something brand new. It's okay if all of your faces are sad faces today to say that you don't know how to do it yet. Or you might think, I kind of know how to do that, I need a bit more practice. Or maybe you're feeling really confident. Now, I'm lucky I'm in the library now because I can show you what I mean by this challenge one. It says I can write a persuasive blurb for my story. So, with books, on the back, you quite often get a blurb, and the blurb is the short piece of writing that tells you what the book is about. If you imagine if you're in a library or in a shop, you might pick up this book and think, do I want to read this book? I wonder what it's about. and you might just read the blurb to help you decide. So quite often they try and persuade you that you should read that book. So do you think you could write a persuasive blurb for your story? If you think you'd like to have a go at the challenge, you can colour those faces in too. And then the final challenge one is very similar to this one. This one says I can join sentences with that, if, when and because. This one, the challenge, says I can start sentences with if, when and because. You can't start sentences with that, they don't make sense. But with if, when and because, they could go on the beginning of the sentence. Because you have worked hard, you can have a break after this. When it is raining, you need to wear a coat outside. So do you think you could start sentences with if, when and because? Colour in the faces for those. Well done everybody. Now, 1 star sheet, yours is slightly different, but you need to do the same job this morning. So if you're on 1 star, can you write in sentences which make sense? Sorry, my tick is hiding the word make. I can write in sentences which make sense, that should say. Can you remember to use finger spaces? Can you use capital letters and full stops correctly? And can you use the conjunction and to join 2 sentences together? Now, if you're not doing the 1 star work, I'm still expecting you to be able to do all these things as well, so that's a really good reminder. So, that's your work done for today. If you haven't already watched these 2 videos, make sure you do, because they're going to help you for the rest of the week, and I'll see you again tomorrow.